What is up, everybody? It's CJ Plays here, and I'm back with another Rosewood Park renovation video. So the house that we're going to be furnishing today is called the Aster. It is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom home, and it's also outdated. So listen, I know this is probably like the second house in the row. No, this is like the second house in a row that is kind of outdated. But listen, there's a storyline, okay? It makes sense. So the story with this house is that this was a house that was like owned by a rich sim. However, they died in this house like years ago. So fast forward to like nowadays, a family of paranormal investigators live here. Okay, it is a mom, a dad, and they have 2 kids. Now, the thing is, right, the parents, they bought this house because one, it was haunted, and they had to, like, of course, figure out what the heck is going on. So the parents are college professors. They are from Twinbrook, and they would just teach, in Twinbrook, but they got the opportunity to travel the world and to teach remotely. So what they do now is they kind of just travel the world, go into different Sims worlds, investigating like spooky things and creepy things. And that has landed them in Rosewood Park, where they currently live. And they live in this very old, potentially haunted house. There are some readings in this house, okay? It's definitely giving creepy, spooky, scary. Something's going on here. So the idea is that the Sims just kind of moved in. They brought some of their things with them, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But mainly everything in the house is like how it originally was by the original sim that lived here. So we're talking very outdated furniture, okay? The wallpaper in this living room is probably my least favorite. Honestly, I think this room is my least favorite room. And I know it kind of sounds a little bit crazy, like CJ, you the one that furnished it, you could just change it. Listen, I wanted to keep it. I didn't like the wallpaper so much that I wanted to keep it, if that makes sense, just to see if I could make it work. And I think it looks okay, but that living room is not my favorite. We're in the kitchen now. The kitchen, actually, I like a lot. I love the wallpaper. Honestly, if I had a wallpaper like this in my house, I probably would keep it. I mean, I wouldn't go out my way to put it up, but if it was already there, I would have probably kept it because it's a nice color. So for the kitchen, I wanted it to also be kind of outdated. So we have some older cabinets. We have the older stove and fridge. I was really trying to figure out how many upper cabinets to put. So I decided on 2 of them, and then I just put like the pots and pans in the corner and stuff like that. And then I also ended up using the table from the Supernatural pack. I had a really hard time, and you'll probably see it in the video. I had a really hard time, y'all, trying to figure out what light fixture to use in this house, because the idea, like I said, is for this to be outdated. So I was like, I should pick a chandelier. But the chandeliers that we have, or at least I have in my game, they're nice, but they didn't really fit the vibe. They were either like too small, or they were like way too big and they hung down way too low. So I had to just settle for the base game chandelier. And let me ask y'all, I feel like a lot of these videos always ask y'all questions, but let me ask you something for this video. Do you really ever use base game stuff when you build or furnish in The Sims? Like, for me, I'm so used to having expansion packs, stuff packs, store content, sometimes custom content, that I kind of like overlook the base game stuff. So let me ask y'all, do y'all use base game a lot? Now, if you watch any of my builds, you know I use very key things from the base game. Those square couches, that rug. Listen, that flying carpet rug, y'all, is the best in the game, okay? And I will stand on that. Well, I think it's the best in the base game. But if you have Into the Future, then you have like those grass rugs. Those are probably like also really good too. But I feel like those 2 are the best in the game, okay? And I'm going to stand on that because trust me, I've been building in this game for years. A lot of the rugs are nice, but there's very few rugs in this game that you can actually recolor completely. So like anyone like that is going to be my favorite. But moving on, I'm kind of just talking over everything. But moving on, this is like the office space. So the family is using the original desk, but they kind of have started putting their stuff in this room because they need to have like a base of operations for, paranormal investigative stuff. So we have like a little office with a family portrait. We have like that futuristic computer. We have some charts and graphs. All of this is just like a little workspace, but you may have noticed that there is a ladder that goes down below. That leads to the basement. Now, for whatever reason, there was no access to the basement originally, so I had to put a ladder somewhere. But when we go down to the basement, you'll see that that's literally where all of the magic happens. There's a lot of space down here, so I knew for a fact that this was the perfect house for like a paranormal investigative family. So I decided to put a bunch, and I'm saying a bunch of like sciencey objects. I use ByDebug to use a a lot of the paranormal investigator objects. I forgot to get that little like blaster gun thing they use. Oh my gosh, I gotta like see if I can put that in the build. But anyway, as you can see, I'm using a bunch of science stuff. So we use the science objects from the university pack, the skeleton from the university pack. I wanted to have like a work table in here, so I went to Fastlane stuff and I actually used the table from that set because it kind of looks industrial and stuff. So I used that. I put like a bunch of paranormal investigative stuff on it. It was kind of cool to like look through debug because there's actually like a lot of cool stuff. So like you have like this little mini time machine object that comes with ambitions, and then you have like a really big time machine object from ambitions. So I used a smaller one in here. I was also trying to like put boxes and stuff just to kind of like signify that they're still kind of like moving in and stuff. I found like this jackalope and Bigfoot standee, and I was like, bro, I have got to use that in here somewhere because like I feel like the parents would have probably bought it offline or something. Or I like to believe that they like listened to like locals saying, oh, it was a jackalope spotted so and so, and then they went to go investigate it, and then like, and it was literally just like a stand up figure thing. I think that would be like kind of funny in my opinion. I used like the tragic clown painting and then one of those paintings from the Supernatural pack. So the pictures from the Supernatural pack, they changed the picture like at night. So I thought that was kind of cool. Like the family went to, you know, Moonlight Falls to investigate a creepy house and they took some stuff with them. We have the tragic clown painting, which is kind of cursed anyway in my opinion. And then we have like a cauldron down here that was like a shelf with a ghost gnome. So it's very detailed downstairs. I honestly think like the office and downstairs are some of my favorite rooms in the whole entire house. But moving on to the upstairs section, so as you can see we have 2 bedrooms up here. So I decided to kind of tackle the bathroom first since it was kind of small. So this is like the bathroom that pretty much anyone can use. I feel like the kids are probably using it more though. And then I also had like this really weird bug, as you're seeing right now. Whenever I was trying to place a fence, it would only use like some, I think it was from the base game or something. So I had to like switch out the categories to like make the fence work. It was so weird, I don't know. But yeah, this is the first bathroom. So I kind of went with a orangey, white, brown, very outdated color scheme. It kind of reminds me of like the 70s, right? It's just very old. So I think that toilet is from the Regal set. I use the Pets shower and some base game countertops in here with the base game sink and also a base game mirror in here too. I kind of like the layout of this bathroom admittedly because I felt like it was kind of like unnecessary, but in a good way. Like it's very cramped in here, but in a very like, I guess realistic way, if that makes sense. I also made sure to put a picture up here because when I went to go take screenshots, I sometimes notice that bathrooms don't really have much going in them, so I kind of try to like furnish them as best I can. But moving on, this is the first bedroom. So this is where the parents sleep. Now, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, that bed is the original bed that the original owner had, and I'm just gonna let you know, these Sims are braver than I am because for one, I'm not gonna stay in a haunted house or a house that I know is haunted, and 2, I'm definitely not going to be sleeping on a person's bed if they died in the house. Like, no, we can take the bed out and get a new one, you know? Or I'll just sleep on the floor, you know, whatever, or the couch, you know? But no, these paranormal investigators are brave, y'all, so they're sleeping in the same bed that the owner had. It'd be like that, I guess, for them. But I ended up using the bed from the Indulgent set. I used the Generations dresser in here as well. And then this bedroom has an ensuite bathroom. And it's so oddly shaped, but strangely enough, it was big enough to fit all the essential objects. So I ended up using a lot of the objects from the Cambodia set. It also took me a while to figure out what wallpaper to use in here. And then I realized that I had like this floral print wallpaper, and I was like, oh, that will look really good in here, especially with the Cambodia set. So I used like the tub, the sink. I was going to use the mirror that comes with it, but the mirror is kind of big. You'll see it in the video. It's really big. And I was like, this room's just too small for like a lot of big objects, so I used like a base game mirror in here instead, and I just thought it looked a little bit better. I did recolor everything ever so slightly, and then I ended up putting a base game rug down below because I needed something that wasn't super big, so I found like that little small base game rug. And honestly, I think this room turned out pretty cool. I realized after I was done recording that I forgot to replace some of the lights in the house. So you'll see that like the kids room and maybe the bathroom, one of the other rooms has like a ceiling, like the original ceiling light. So I ended up like replacing it off camera, of course. But moving on, this is the last room. So we have a couple kids that live in here. So we have a teenage girl and we have a kid boy, and they kind of just share this room. I feel like they're just so used to just unpacking their life everywhere they go. Like, they've lived probably in almost every Sims world. Maybe not Lunar Lakes, but they've lived in just about every Sims world. So I feel like they're just kind of used to like packing up stuff, not really like planting down roots, so to speak. They just kind of like, you know, they have some things they take with them, and then maybe they throw some stuff away, get some new stuff. So they have a bunk bed in here. I tried to like make it as nice as possible and like, you know, decorate it for kids and stuff. The wallpaper is like the original wallpaper though, so it's still a little bit outdated, but I really wanted this to kind of feel like a kid's room. So I used like the splat rug from the Supernatural pack. I ended up using the Generations desk in here. I gave them a laptop, and then I tried my best to put up a lot of posters on the wall. And then I realized that we have like a little extra space between the bed and the dresser, so I was like, what could I put in that space that would kind of make a lot of sense? And then it hit me to just use a beanbag chair. However, I need to playtest it to make sure that a sim can get around it, because I think they can, but I need to actually like playtest it to make sure, because y'all know how it is in The Sims 3. But that's pretty much everything for the entire build. So if you want to download this house, I will leave a link down below. If you didn't know, I do have a playlist of all the Rockwood Island renovations linked down below, so you can check them out. But anyway, y'all, that is all that I have for this video. Please be sure to leave a like, comment something down below. Follow me over on Twitch, where I stream a lot more of The Sims 3, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! Thanks for watching!